T-minus 10 minutes. T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. 6 minutes. Minus 5 minutes. Minus for minutes. Minus 3 minutes. Minus 2 minutes. 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Well, hello there, RP Show fam, and that is what we are around here. A big old family, and I got to quote John Frenzy right out of the gate. It's just going to be fantastic today because, as Brian watching in Winnipeg has already said, lots to chat about today. He's referring to the National Hockey League, but we've got a lot going on. Game day in the CFL. Viewer Jason says, happy Stampede Bowl game day. Joining us to talk about it, Kevin the Medium from the Hughes Sports Podcast. Yes, he is a medium, Kevin the Medium, Kevin Hughes. And in hour two, I'm very, very excited to welcome Chris Streveler to the show. Kev, you're a longtime CFL fan like me. Strevy, he is the kind of guy, off the top of my head, there are few that you're just, if you're a fan of the CFL, you love the guy. Toss the rivalry out the window. He was playing for Winnipeg. I'm with Sask. I didn't care. I just love the guy. And he's going to be on with us in hour two. I'm pretty excited about that.
Just one of those names where you hear it and you just think CFL. He's been with them for, I don't know, how many years did he play?
Like 4. There was a big NFL stint in the middle of that. 2 seasons, right. 2018-19, then like 4 in the NFL, and then 24-25 back with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So when I saw his name, I just smile, and I'm watching his content now. Are you following him on social media, Chris Streveler?
Yes, I am, actually. Yes, I'm liking it.
Yeah, he's doing some really good stuff. He wants to be the next big media superstar in the CFL. I'm like, let's help him out. It's just his smile. It's so infectious. So Chris Streveler coming up in hour two. I'm looking forward to that. And actually, since we're here and it's summertime and it's Thursday and we're going to get into the rest of the topics in a second, you can think about it in the break, Kev, although you are pretty good on thinking on your feet. Who's a player from another team that you should hate, but you just couldn't hate? I'll be honest, with Geroy Simon, before he became a good friend of mine, I was like, I can't hate this guy. He's just so good. It's not personal. He's just out there doing his job. And then I get to know him, and he's all world, as you know, because you met him too. But is there a guy like Anthony Calvillo I didn't really like? I didn't like AC. We couldn't beat his ass. He was too busy whipping our ass with Montreal. And so was Geroy. But is there a guy that comes to your mind that you just couldn't hate? And it doesn't have to be CFL. It could be any team.
You know what? In the CFL, you'd have to put Geroy up there, and for different reasons. He is a Lion. He'll always be a BC Lion to me. But when he went over to the Riders, it was like, I want to hate him. But he'd catch a ball and you'd just be like, I can't hate him. How can you hate a guy like that?
Right. Well, he was on your team. Yes, there's no wrong answer to this. It's just a fun little question here right out of the gate. Who's a player from a rival team that you just couldn't hate? And for me, it was Chris. I got a lot of them, to be honest. And I think that's why Bomber fans and fans from across the CFL have accepted me in this role, because they knew where my heart was. They knew that I loved the league and we're all in it together. So anyways, let's jump into this. Number one, right out of the gate. Neil Chark is coming on the program tomorrow from Uniglobe Carefree Travel in Vancouver to help promote the cruise, Kev, that you're going on. You know that you're going with Adam Bighill and Jameer Thurman, but you're also going with now Willie Jefferson and Jake Serezna. Yeah, you saw that? So they're
I
adding
did.
to it. Yeah. So score a touchdown in the Caribbean this February, a 7-day cruise off the coast of Fort Lauderdale with CFL stars. Neil Chark is going to be joining us tomorrow from Uniglobe Carefree Travel to talk about it, the official travel partner of the RP show, and the CFL's BC Lions. But the big story is this. My phone's full. The comments are coming in from the viewers on NHL Free Agency. I will tell you right now, the poll question today is, who's winning NHL Free Agency? It's brought to you by Country Thunder, coming July 9th to the 12th to Craven Sask. Before, I didn't even tell you what the options are, Kev. I'll just let you go because you're following it enough. You're in Canada. You're Canadian. You're a hockey fan. Who do you think, from what you've seen, is winning?
It's impossible not to follow free agency or the draft if you're a Canadian NHL fan. Who's winning? I can tell you who's losing. Once again, it's my Vancouver Canucks just sitting with their thumbs somewhere they shouldn't be. And it's frustrating because you watch all these other teams, Edmonton, Toronto, Panthers, and they're just shoring everything up, making it look good. I think Toronto by far has made the best moves after stealing, I'll use the word stealing, my Gavin McKenna. But that's okay. I'm over it. I'm not bitter. I'm over it. But you know what? I'm going to say Toronto's got to be up on the top there. Edmonton as well.
Monty from Saskatoon writes in, says Toronto Maple Leafs. And it's kind of funny. As I was driving here today, I dialed up Jared Dumba, one of our NHL analysts, Dumbalicious, and I just said, hey, off the top of my head, because he's following this, I swear to God, for anybody that's not working in NHL media, Jared Dumba's following it the most out of anybody that it's not their job. I'm not sure. I don't need to follow TSN. I follow Jared Dumba's Facebook feed. And what he came up with were Toronto, Edmonton, Tampa Bay. He likes what Tampa Bay's done, signing John Carlson, acquiring the goalie Hildeby from the Leafs, or other. So, folks, I mean, there's no right answer to this right now. I see Jeff the Stamps fans writing in, and he's all excited about the Stampede Bowl. Yes, he says, where's Hellebuck going? I'm actually glad Jeff the Stamps fan brought that up because the Winnipeg Jets signed Stuart Skinner yesterday, which, look, we got to just walk it back for all the Winnipeg fans that have tuned in to see Chris Streveler here today. They're obviously Jets fans, too. This doesn't necessarily automatically mean that Connor Hellebuck is leaving, but it doesn't look good. And I'm just wondering, frankly, if the Jets fans are going to turn on Connor Hellebuck. They probably will. I don't even want to tell you, as I said to Jared on the phone this morning, nobody cares that's watching this right now, but what's happening in South Florida is kind of sick to me. The media's kind of trying to turn the fan base against Bob, and it's not the first guy to leave based on money. Every team has a story of that. Look at Quinn Hughes of Vancouver. Is he going to get booed when he comes back to Quinn Hughes, if he hasn't already?
No, he won't be. It's a business, and that's what we as fans forget, that this is just a business that we watch and love. But at the end of the day, it's all about making that buck. If I owned a business, I got to be worried about making the dollar at the end of the day. And if that means, as a player, your career is so short. You're not working from 18 to 65 as a hockey player or any sport player. So you got to make as much dollars as you can in a very short time. So if Bob can find more money than the Panthers were offering him somewhere else, good on him.
Yeah, I know. And I still don't know if the young fans, you and I are of this mindset because we've been following the NHL for a very long time. These aren't hockey moves anymore. They're all money moves. So we still think, oh, my God, he went somewhere else. He must hate that place, that player. Or they traded this guy. They must hate him because that's the way it used to be. No, it's all about money, and I don't know if we'll ever get that through our heads. But anyways, we'll continue this right after this on the RP Show.
Across America, Country Thunder music festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona. on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon
and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
All right, welcome back. It's the RP Show. I'm enjoying seeing Kevin the Medium kibitzing with the viewers. Unfortunately, I just looked into this, and as has Joe, our text line, the Western Dodge text line is down. I just opened it. It said carrier outage, and I don't even really know what that means other than I don't think that it's good. But the text line's brought to you by Western Dodge. Drive with confidence. Shop Western Dodge. Financing, selection, and service you can count on. The folks can continue the NHL discussion going. Like for Jeff the Stamps fan saying, where's Connor Hellebuyck going? Maybe he's not going anywhere unless teams are getting their budgets set, but he's got a pretty big wage to be bringing into your roster, and the rosters are getting set here as of Canada Day. But you know what? I'm tired of hockey. For now, I want to get to football. And again, Chris Streveler coming up. Nobody's answered my question yet. Who's that guy from the rival team that you just couldn't hate because you just loved? Alex Singleton's another, and I really should have hated that guy because he was making plays all over the field for Calgary, but he's jumping around, blowing kisses to the crowd in our stadium. I'm like, this guy just loves playing so much. How could I not like the guy? Is there anybody else that came to your mind, Kev, when I said, who's the guy from a rival team that you just couldn't hate?
Probably Lancaster is another one going way
Oh, really?
back. Where you just wanted to hate him because they beat you up every time he played, but you just can't hate people like that. I mean, there's so many over the years. Because you have such a small league, you get to know so many of the players so well, even on the other teams, that it's like, how can you hate that guy? He's doing so well. Even Bo Levi, I'm actually almost cheering for the guy now. And I didn't like him a few years back. Now I'm kind of like, you know what? I kind of want him to do well.
We got some good ones coming in here right now, man. Oh, and by the way, Ryan from upstate New York, Cardinal Ryan, has just joined us from upstate New York. He always likes to participate in these questions. So I'll tell you, Ryan, you just missed. I said, who's a player from the rival team he just couldn't hate based on the way they played? Vancouver Eric writes in and says, Scott Schultz. Don't worry, I hate him. So you don't have to. He just randomly sent me a photo. Yeah, you don't have to hate him, Vancouver Eric. I hate him, Scott Schultz. I'm joking, of course, the old 96er. He just sent me a photo from Craven from when we were together like 14 years ago. I mean, what would make you send me this photo of the Oak Ridge boys from 14 years ago? We are on the stage at Craven, and oh my God, don't get me going on Craven stories. Monty in Saskatoon says Superman 81. Yeah, G. Roy Simon, he didn't like him. So, yeah, the poll question, I should say again, for Country Thunder, we got to get the tickets sold, everybody. I hope you took advantage of the Canada Day deal. If you did not, you still got time. countrythunder.com/SK. The biggest party this summer is coming to Craven, Saskatchewan. Did you see they canceled the show in Calgary, Kevin, because of noise violations? What the hell's going on in that city? What?
Now, if you dig into that, there's a lot more to the story than just the noise. I'm not going to go into detail, but do some research. I'm thinking they used a noise bylaw as an excuse.
Okay. Ryan, with he stepped up to the plate. He says, as a New York Jets fan, I wanted to hate Tom Brady, but I couldn't help but respect his success. Well, here's the funny thing. When I got to Florida, Tom Brady was still playing, and in South Florida, they freaking hated Tom. They hated Tom Brady because the Dolphins were in the same division. Same thing as your Jets. But then as soon as he retired and left Tampa and came to live in South Florida, everybody loves him. Funny how that happens. And the players need to realize that it's not personal, unless you're me and they still hate me in a big portion of Calgary. Anyways, BW in Edmonton writes in, he says, James Quick Parker, loved him as an Eskimo, hated him as a BC Lion. Jason in Red Deer says, as a Stamps fan, there are so many I hated from the Riders and Eskimos. Tracy Ham, Gizmo, Ricky Ray, Mike Riley, Wes Cates, Corey Sheets, Weston Dressler. Okay, yeah, I get it. You hated anybody that wore green. Before we get to the picks for tonight and the rest of the Week 5 in the Canadian Football League, Kev, you have thoughts on a Joe. So before we look forward, we should look back. The CFL reinstating the receiver that was released by the Rough Riders because of an incident involving gender-based violence. I'm not rolling my eyes. I don't want to get it wrong. Gender-based violence involving an incident in Regina, including a Joe. He was suspended by the CFL. He's been reinstated. And he just signed with Calgary yesterday. The Stamps had to release a statement as to why they're bringing him in. Over to you.
I'm not against second chances. So my take isn't about the fact that a Joe is reinstated. My point I'm trying to get across, and I started on Facebook, was where's that line? You have two gentlemen who should be playing in the CFL that they outright banned, big capital letters, because of I'll call it minor gambling infractions. And then you have two gentlemen who were accused, not convicted, but they were fined, they were suspended for, let's call it what it was, sexual harassment. Yet those two players for the sexual harassment were welcomed back in with loving arms and given a second chance, which, hey, if I wasn't given second chances, I don't know what would have happened to me, third, fourth, and fifth chances. But where's that line? Why are the two gentlemen who have minor gambling offenses not allowed to play? It doesn't make sense to me, and I guess that's my frustration with the CFL is, where is that line? There's got to be a better line than what they're choosing, because, I'm sorry, it looks bad. It just looks bad on the league.
Well, I don't think there is a handbook on this, and things do change. Again, there's good things with being our age, Kevin. There's bad things with being our age. We don't accept change real well, right? Nobody does as life goes along. But the two men that you're talking about that had gambling violations, to be honest, this is the problem that I have. Arlen Bruce IV and Brendan Sorsby committed those crimes in another league. It's one thing to do them when you're playing in the CFL. I kind of get that. But the guys that you're naming, Chad Kelly and Ajoa Joe, served their time, and now they're back playing, or will be in the case of Ajoa. Whereas these two guys that bet in another league can't play. So I don't understand it either. But you and I also work. I'm going to include you in the recovery space in that we need, in terms of helping people with mental health. And it's like you just got to get over it, because in some cases there is no answer or there might be one, but you're never going to get the answer.
Well, and if you got the answer, you're probably not going to like the answer in a couple of those cases. It's just, I mean, where's the line? And it's just a black eye on the league in my opinion.
Well,
what do I know? I'm just a fan.
Well, and we got to be allowed to talk about this stuff. This is the pinch that I'm in. Like, I don't understand. I don't work for the league. I'm not being paid by the league. I'm not sitting here either, though, trying to make them look bad. But we got to have the discussion. I'm sorry. AJ writes in and says, so gambling is deemed worse than mistreating women? Huh? Make it make sense. This is a bad look for the CFL. Jeff the Stamps fan says, Ajoa Joe would have signed with the Stampeders this February. He expressed an interest in playing for the Stamps on this very show pre-draft. Yeah, I enjoyed when we had the players on back in the day from the Combine, and Ajoa Joe was one of them. He corrected me on pronouncing his name wrong, which, to be honest, here's one for you. I never had a player correct me ever, let alone on the air, like ever. And that's just the way the players are now. Yesterday, we played a doubleheader. There's this kid, Ben Wallachuk. He might be my illegitimate son, okay? He just plays with fire. Like the other day, he turned a double play, and he was shooting the guns like as he's running off the field. I'm like, I love you so much. Are you my son? And yesterday, he comes running up in between. We had a doubleheader, and he's like, what's the score in the U.S. men's national soccer game? I'm like, how the hell would I know? Because he's like, well, I thought you were a sports guy. This is the way he talks to me. He's like 21. And I said, look yourself. And he goes, right. But he goes, I'm on a U.S. plan. I don't turn it on in Canada. Is there Wi-Fi in here? So we looked it up together. I'm like, oh my God. What is my point? I'm not sure I had a point. But anyways, Ken in Mississauga writes in and says, if Arlen Bruce IV's entire situation was in front of a jury, I don't think he would be found guilty beyond reasonable doubt. No. He's guilty. Nobody's disputing that. Okay, we all know that.
We had him on the Hughes Sports podcast when the ban came in, and he is the first one to say, I did it. I was 16 when it started. I was 17 when it was found out. I'm guilty. But it was a minor. He wasn't betting against his own team. They have proven that. They looked into his betting. He wasn't betting for any game that he was playing in. It's the rule states you can't bet. And he had an account and he was letting other people use it and they were betting. So he was guilty. He was 17 years old.
Oh my God. A minor.
First of all, it was illegal to be betting at 17 in the States, I believe. And I think that was the biggest issue.
You just can't do it. You got to be 21 for the love of God in the States. But on the Joe thing, Vancouver Eric writes in, he says, his Canadian passport is the only reason we're talking about him. I disagree. Joe is an NFL talent. And why he's not there, he's the reason he's not there. There's a reason why he keeps playing. There's a reason why the Riders drafted him. He's an NFL talent. And I don't think, no, they're not going to touch him now in the NFL. He's not. He wouldn't be up here in the NFL. He's average in the NFL, but in the CFL.
Or just below.
Right, maybe a little below average. You're right. But in the CFL, like, I'm sorry, this is not an insult. Joe, no. When I first saw him at South Florida, I'm like, and I was told he was Canadian, I'm like, he's Alan Pitts. That's who he reminds me of. Well, a Hall of Famer, man. Could be the greatest receiver the Calgary Stampeders have ever had. Vintage Sasko writes in, he says, I believe in, he goes, a genuine question. More than fair, Joe and Kelly suspended for harassment, but should the league then be sending gift boxes and love letters to John Gruden, who got fired for racist language? And I believe in second chances, but ... Okay. We have like 3 minutes left in this segment, so we don't have time to get into the picks. Vintage Sasko's not wrong.
No.
Right. But we're kind of just going down a road here that there's no end to. And yeah, go ahead, Kev.
This isn't new. Think back of some of the players that were brought up to the CFL when the NFL kicked their butts out of their league and suspended them for various reasons. We brought them here. So, I mean, it just bugs the crap out of me that they're peeing on our heads and telling us it's raining. And I use that term because you said it when they brought the changes in. And I just love it because there's more to the story, especially with Arland Bruce IV. There's more to that story than what is being told. But now you look at it and this other, I can't remember the other gentleman's name, I'm sorry, that was banned as well for gambling.
Brendan Sorsby.
Sorsby. So maybe that's their line. If you gamble and you get caught gambling, that's our line. Do I like that line? No. But if that's the line they choose, well, then they're up to be criticized for making it that line. And that's Steve Smith is watching from the Late Night Smitty podcast in Steinbach, Manitoba. He says, great conversation. No, it is, and I'm enjoying it today, and I knew that it would be. Kev said he wanted to talk about a Joe. I didn't think it would be a whole segment, but that's fine. I'd like to sit down with a league broker, and maybe the best guy for me to do that would be Mike Davis, my buddy with the Vegas Nighthawks, because he runs a pro team, yet he's not in the CFL. So and I'm talking about the betting aspect. I'm like, why is this so taboo? Tell me why. I need to know why, especially with those two players. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's a reason. But as you say, they're not making it public. Anyways, we'll be right back. Chris Streveler coming up in hour 2. Thanks for joining us today. It's the RP Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Dean Brody and the Wreck Loss, teaming up for the Hometown Heroes Tour.
If there's work, you know I'm gonna work.
Live at Temple Garden Center, November 9th.
Can't blame nobody else, I can't help myself.
2 of Canada's biggest country acts, one stage, one unforgettable night on the Hometown Heroes Tour.
In the back rows and we know like the back of our hands.
Tickets on sale now at the Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
All right, I hope you're sitting down. Let's wait till we get Kevin the Medium on the screen again from the Hughes Sports Podcast. Breaking news. The Western Dodge text line is open and working. Kirk in Toronto writes in at 902-518-3033. Whatever you did, Joe, hooray! Kirk writes in from Toronto. He says, hey, Rod, Kawhi Leonard, a Raptor again. Nobody cares about the NBA, sorry, unless the Raptors are winning. Not around here. The Buds Bag Bobrovsky. Oh, and pull together Scullers. Yeah, it's a great week for Toronto sports. They don't have a lot. So let's, bravo, Kawhi Leonard back in Toronto, and Sergei Bobrovsky is a Leaf. I'll be talking more hockey after the break. Anything on your mind, Kev, before we get to the picks for Pump Jacks?
I follow this guy on Facebook, Joseph Grant Joseph. He's hilarious. You haven't followed him, watch him. Him and his daughter do a thing. It's hilarious. He's planning the parades, plural, parades. I'm just like, oh my goodness, stop.
I don't know what it is. I'll never, and I love the fact that Brian Burke got into the Hockey Hall of Fame, because I know there's a lot of people that don't like him, but I think he's friggin' hilarious. I always have, even before I got to know him, had him on this show, great guy. And even when he was, I think it was when he was the GM of the Leafs, made some move, and he's like, I know they're out there measuring the width of the streets in Toronto for how wide the floats can be for the parade. I've never, ever forgot that.
That's awesome.
The sports doctor, Dave Patrician, who's going to be on this show tomorrow. We used to always text each other. Every time the Bombers won, we would write each other back, plan the parade. And then they had to go and win the damn thing. And that totally ruined our little inside plan the parade. And then they had a parade with Chris Streveler and a fur coat and a bunch of beer and a cowboy hat. And, yeah, I can't wait for Streveler. I really can't wait. I'm going to fanboy on him. I know it. I'm going to fanboy on him. I'll try not to. 902-518-3033. Anyways, CFL is doing their things. I'm ready to move on from that as far as Chad Kelly and Brandon Sorsby and Arlen Bruce IV and other whatever. We've made our thoughts known. The picks we do weekly for Pump Jacks Cathedral, Pump Jacks Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. We love our friends at Pump Jacks. They watch us every day. Kev, I did read some game notes if you want to know. It's like the highlight of my week is reading CFL game notes. Of the 14 games played so far this year in the CFL, of 13 of them have scored 50-plus points. So every game but one's had 50-plus points. The games have been amazing. This shouldn't surprise anybody. Of the 14 games played, 13 of them were decided by turnover battle, which you can't predict who's going to win the turnover battle unless you look at the turnover ratio stat cumulatively and who's leading in that category. It'll give you an idea who's the best at protecting the football versus who's the worst. So if you're picking, that would help. Just saying, everybody knows turnover battle is the biggest determining factor in who wins the game. We just never know who's going to win the turnover battle. That's the rub. And we talked the first 3 weeks, I think, maybe 4 weeks, on how the quarterback play was just, at that time, was off the charts. The average QBR was 110.4, I think. Coming out of, that was after 3 weeks. After 4 weeks now, it's gone even higher. The average quarterback rating is 112.4. Just to give you an idea how good the quarterbacks are playing this year, the 5-year average before this year was 94.2. It's just gone. I don't really know why that is, but you watch the games and you can see it.
Well, you watch any of the games. I mean, BC lost to Calgary, 400 plus yards, 479 yards net offense. I mean, how do you lose a game when the opposing team has 288 net yards and you have 479? But I'm not ranting. I promised I wouldn't rant. But even
you didn't promise me that. Rant away. It's better when you rant because I'm not ranting, so somebody has to. Go ahead.
Even the Riders in their loss, I forget the exact stat, but it was well over 300 yards for Harris. So, I mean, this crop of quarterbacks has just been phenomenal. Or they figured out how to pick apart zone defense in the CFL. And it's driving me crazy because every team is doing it pretty much, is they sit back in this zone defense and you've got good QBs. They're going to dissect a zone defense. That's just inevitable.
For all the viewers, just hang on. We got great comments coming in, but we only got a few moments left with Kev, so I'll get to those after the break. Toronto at Calgary tonight. Who you got in the Stampede Bowl?
Argos.
I'm taking him too. Why are you taking him?
Because Chad Kelly's been on fire. Like he's
same reason for me.
I'm shaking my head. It's like, where did this guy come from? I mean, he's been good, but he was out. No rust.
Yeah. He's shattering Argos records, and just so you know, they've had a few beauties, a few dandies wear that uniform. Ricky Ray, Doug Flutie come to mind. He's breaking all their records. So Kevin and I have the Argos winning the Stampede Bowl. Dasha will be performing at halftime. I got to get up with the music, Kev. If it's not
no idea.
Anything after 2000, I have no idea who they are. Speaking of our age. Sask at Ottawa. I'll take Canada's team, the Saskatchewan Roughriders. How about you?
Would you stop calling them that? I'm taking the Riders as well, but not because I.
Which Riders? The Ottawa Riders or the Sask Riders? Oh.
The Saskatchewan.
Edmonton and the BC Lions in touchdown Kelowna. Who do you have?
I wrote down the Elkimos. I'm going to stick with it. I'm using reverse psychology on myself.
Well, perfect, because I'm going with the Lions. I'm a BC backer. And by the way, Neil Chark will be with us tomorrow from Uniglobe Carefree Travel in Vancouver to talk about the big cruise, which has now added Willie Jefferson and Jake Soresna. You can cruise with them, along with Kevin the Medium, Adam Bighill. And actually, we should talk about this. We don't have a lot of time here. But I got BC, you got Edmonton, and Winnipeg at Hamilton. I'll take the Ticats. I'll tell you that right now. Who you got?
Well.
Are you? Okay. It's funny. There's a meme going around the States right now. That's the picks for Pump Jacks. Go watch the games at Pump Jacks. Join us there. And it's like, well, a lot of UFL accounts, but some NFL ones too. Media. A clip of Bo Levi, a touchdown he threw earlier this season. They're like, this guy's got to be in the NFL. I'm like, would you guys wake the hell up? Where were you 10 years ago? Which, by the way, well, sorry, go ahead.
He's going to be in his wheelchair in the NFL? Come on.
That's what I'm saying. But he looks young. Listen, I get it. What's old is young. The Golden Knights had to bring in Torts to straighten them out. The Oilers have hired Mike Babcock to straighten them out. CFL teams are employing 40-year-old quarterbacks. So I totally get it. But I don't think Bo's going to the NFL. This would be a topic for another day. I wonder if he regrets not signing with Minnesota, because we all know he had the opportunity there when Kirk Cousins was there, but they told him, you won't be challenging Kirk for the number one job. And Bo was like, well, screw that, then I'm going back to Calgary, which I respect. Yes. But I wonder if he regrets that.
Only regret, I would say, would be money. And who knows, maybe another team would have seen him and had a chance.
Yeah. Well, it's not just that, because he's making up his money. In the end, probably was a better financial decision for him, right? I'm not joking. But in America, we got a lot of U.S. Carlos in Indiana, you tell me. Yeah, Carlos is like, well, if Phillip Rivers could do it. Phillip was a star before he came back at age 45, but it don't mean anything if you played in the CFL. I mean, it does to the football people, but it doesn't to Joe Schmo. Like Weston Dressler in Bismarck, North Dakota, they talk about the fact that he spent 2 weeks with the Kansas City Chiefs, not that he had a Hall of Fame career with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's not always about money, but I can tell you that a lot of guys that did go to the NFL for money, Corey Sheets comes to mind, wishes that they hadn't.
Yes.
So in retrospect, I think we're agreeing here that Bo made the right decision. Is that what we're saying?
100%. 100% he made the right decision.
Interesting. Okay, well, the viewers got some great stuff, man. As always, Kev, thanks for this.
As always.
You have fun out there in Maple Creek. Say hi to all my Rider fan friends.
I will do that. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, sounds good. We have the text line working. Hooray! The carrier outage is clearly over. Thank you, Joe, for looking into that. 902-518-3033. The YouTube chat is humming as well. And we'll be back in a moment. We're streaming on Game Plus, Silver State Sports, and WQVZ.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I could do a sports update, but for now I'm not going to because I'm going to have so much fun chatting with you. But read my lips, okay? And if you're listening, listen up. If you're listening on the radio or podcast form. We need you on that cruise. It's turning into the Love Boat. I'm going to tell you, and I meant to mention this to Kevin. I'm going to have to call him later, but score a touchdown in the Caribbean. They've added stars, CFL stars, to that cruise with a CFL PA. It now includes Adam Bighill, Jameer Thurman of the Rough Riders, Willie Jefferson, and Jake Serezna. 7-day cruise departing from Fort Lauderdale, February the 20th. A once-in-a-lifetime experience for CFL fans. Prices from $18.99, cruise only. Contact Neil Chark at Uniglobe Travel. Neil, Neal, at uniglobecarefree.ca. Book your trip. Kevin already has. And what I meant at where I had to talk to Kevin about this, right now I don't have plans to be on the boat, but I live in Fort Lauderdale, or near Fort Lauderdale. So what if we had a little get-together, a little smoker the night before the boat takes off? A little hot stove in the hotel. We've done that a million times. Is that something you would be interested in? I got to talk to Kevin about that. Anyways, Neil Chark will be on with us tomorrow to promote the trip and talk CFL football. Okay, on the chat, because it is the Canadian Hour, and I have no problem discussing this in the Canadian Hour, CFL stuff. Ken in Mississauga says Dieter Brock was a rookie in the NFL at age 34. Guys, it ain't 1985 anymore. We need to grasp that concept. Regarding the scoring being off the charts and the quarterback play in the CFL, late night Smitty watching in Steinbach, Manitoba. Steve Smith says, so the new rules and field size will increase scoring more? Okay, can I just say one thing about that? When the news came up last week that the CFL overlords are considering walking back the rule changes, was that just fake news from some account, as somebody said to me, that has 73 followers? Like it wasn't anybody credible? Because I don't know what to believe anymore. I have no idea what to believe anymore, and that part of life sucks. I told you the text line's open for Western Dodge, 902-518-3033. David, number 2, writes in from Winnipeg, and he says, two things. The first, the thing that irks me the most is betting in sports. I understand why it's been legalized. The people who lose bets then claim it was fixed or scripted are idiots. How do you script a perfect 50-yard bomb or last-second knockdown? It's a pass. For me, betting is for fools. Hey, I understand that. And I don't get it either, just so you know. I mean, this is the fight that I'll tell you where I struggle with this, and I don't know that you'll ever be able to change my mind. That whole phrase, perception's reality. And I say it like that because our old business manager, Lee Jinya, used to say that all the time. Perception's reality, Rod. And I'm like, no, reality's reality. And I'll give you an example. Some dear friends of mine, I'm not going to name them, were accused by somebody for misappropriating funds in the Humboldt Broncos Memorial Fund, that GoFundMe fund that they did. And they called me. And they said, Rod, what do we do about this? And I said, did you do it? Because I don't think you did. He goes, no, we didn't do it. I said, then you got nothing to worry about. Reality is reality. The parallel is with the NFL or any of these major sports, because I've worked for decades. I've never known one guy, to fix a game, rig a game, or an official. So and the guys that have been caught doing that, I get why they've been banned for life. I totally understand that too. But I've never known anybody intentionally. No, none of my friends have ever done it, is the point. And with Arlen Bruce IV and Brendan Sorsby, because I feel like some of you are saying you're not getting it, Rod. These guys did. In other leagues as teenagers is all. And then the fun thing off the top of the show was, and David, number 2, has answered the bell on that. My God, I can't believe how much we rely on this stupid text line at 902-518-3033 for Western Dodge. But I said, who's a player from the opposition that, well, I can think of a few in my mind as I go back, that played for your rival that you just couldn't hate them? because they just had so much heart, or they were so good. I said G. Simon when I was with the Rough. Couldn't hate him. Milt Stegall. I couldn't hate him. He was all class. Come on, that's Milt. He's all class. And David number 2 writes in from Winnipeg. He says, I never cared for the Argos, but it was hard not to like pinball. And frankly, for me, growing up, the first team I ever loved, the team I love still the most, and the team I will love last, the Regina Pats, when they were playing the Moose Jaw Warriors, and Theron Fleury was doing some ungodly things out on that. For instance, being kicked off the ice, kicked out of the game, and slashing his stick on the railing where the fans had their hands. He slashed it, trying to break their hands. I still respected that. And I was a Pats fan, and Theo was playing for the Moose Jaw Warriors. Who would have known decades later we'd become best friends, like brothers? Maybe, I don't know. Woo, woo, woo. Who's the one guy that you just couldn't hate? Jason in Red Deer writes in and says, that was fake news, or as people like to say now, rumors or speculation. It's because the thing that really pisses me off about that is that I never saw the tweet. I told you I spend far less time on social media now, and I only follow the accounts that I trust. It annoys me that accounts pop up in my feed that I don't follow. And a lot of times it's fake news, but I got a text from a football guy in the middle of the night. I woke up and I'm like, he says, the commissioners or the owners are looking at walking this back. And it angered me. I didn't follow up on that story either because I don't know what to believe anymore. God, that sucks. Since we'll put a wrapper on the Canadian hour here, we guys hung up on the NHL, which we'll spend far more time on in hour 2. But the poll question is, who's winning free agency? Wow, I didn't think it would be this. So far on Instagram, 100% are saying the Toronto Maple Leafs are winning free agency. Are you being sold that by TSN or do you actually believe that? I don't know what the YouTube chat is or count. Maybe Jason and Red Deer can help me with that. Anyways, point 2, Folarin Balogun scored his 3rd goal of the World Cup before being sent off with a red card in the second half, and Malik Tillman converted on a free kick to give the 10-man USA squad a 2-0 win over Bosnia-Herzegovina on Wednesday night to advance to the round of 16 in the World Cup. So there you go. More on that next hour. Kevin says nobody cares about that around here, and I think he might be right. I still like the story last night. We're playing a doubleheader. I'm going to tell you right now, I truly love doing these games. Last night wasn't as grueling as I thought it would be. We had a 30-minute break in between. Medicine Hat Mavericks, Moose Jaw Millers, and morning. How you doing, bud? How you feeling? Good. Kid played a doubleheader yesterday. Chris Frank, center fielder from Wooster, Ohio. League leader in RBIs. Anyways, the second baseman, I swear to God, he's my illegitimate son, Ben Wallachek. This kid is he's just a live wire. He just wears his heart here. And he comes up into the press box in the break in between games, and he's like, who won the USA soccer game? I'm like, I don't know. Can you look it up? You look it up. I don't have my streaming on. I have a U.S. cell carrier. He's always in the middle of it. He's the one that started that brawl against the Regina Red Sox. He goes, I know, Rod, you think that I started the brawl, but I didn't. Yes, you did, Ben. I was filming it. Oh, okay. Yes, I did. I invented this stuff. You're going to fool me. Rookie Sean Keyes hit his first MLB career home run, a 3-run shot. Miles Straw added his own 3-run homer, and the Toronto Blue Jays defeated the New York Mets 9-3 on Canada Day. Keyes' 349-foot blast to left field off Met starter Freddie Peralta came in the 3rd, capping off a 4-run inning that also included a 2-out RBI double from Ernie Clement. Hour 1 brought to you by Suds Car Wash. Are you stuck for gift ideas? Suds gift cards, available online at our location or at Costco, are the ultimate for anyone who loves a clean ride. Visit sudsregina.com. I got more, but I'm going to push it over to next hour because you guys just like the stories. The one thing that I find with these young men, and I was having lunch yesterday with the morning, Nathan. Saved number 5 last night, huh? Good for you. Start calling him the fireman. Came in and put the fire out. in the 7th inning. Nathan Peugeot, all-star from, what the hell is it? Bethany Lutheran University in Minnesota. I have very few skills. I don't. One is a photographic memory for stats and useless information. Did I have a point? When we talk hockey, it's for our friends at the Mad Greek Eatery. We were going to go there. Oh, back on track. I went for lunch with a former Rider PR guy yesterday. And we've had several, so you won't guess who it is. And I was saying how much, that's what it was, how much I enjoy these players because they're still young men. They're not married. They don't have kids. They're not men yet. They're young men. And they're so impressive. When we talk about the youth today and the problems that they have, they aren't these guys. These guys are top-level NCAA athletes, and I respect the hell out of them. Most kids their age are goofing off all summer, doing you know what. These guys are on a ball field for hours every day. I love it. Chasing a dream. Anyways, we were going to go to the Mad Greek, but they didn't open until noon yesterday, and we had a team photo at 1. Wasn't going to work. We tried. Are you craving the famous Greek ribs everybody is talking about? Get yours today at the Mad Greek Eatery. Dine in, pick up, or order online at themadgreekeatery.com. Get your hockey talk ready for hour 2, segment 1. We're going to go bonkers on it, okay? And then Chris Streveler will be with us, the former Blue Bomber, Arizona Cardinal, Baltimore Raven, Miami Dolphin, New York Jet. I'll be fanboying. I'll tell you right now, I will. Hour 2 coming up right after this.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Well, we got a really big show for you today. Every day is really big on the RP Show, but making his RP Show debut is NFL, CFL alum Chris Streveler. He's coming up in the next segment, and I don't know where he's joining us from. He's from Naperville, Indiana. Last I saw on his Instagram, he was surrounded by palm trees. I think he's in Arizona, where he not most recently started with the Arizona Cardinals. He is a Canadian Football League legend. Had more than cups of coffee in the National Football League, and he's very quickly becoming an icon of the Canadian Football League. Chris Streveler is coming up in the second segment of this hour of the show as we welcome viewers across Nevada on Silver State Sports. And the interview is brought to you by Prairie Panels. The one thing about Strevy, he gained prominence as a backup quarterback in the Canadian Football League who came in a playoff run and helped the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to their first Grey Cup on the way to multiple championship appearances. That was enough to get him signed in the NFL. And do you guys remember the game? A lot of the viewers may not be watching, but I guarantee a lot of you were. And this has been the fun offshoot of the discussion today. Streveler was a guy that I was with the rival Saskatchewan Roughriders, but you couldn't help but not love the guy just with the way that he played and his heart and his exuberance. And to this day, if you watch the videos, because he's trying to be the next media star, and I want to help him with that because he's good at what he's doing in the media, and he was awesome on the field. But when he went on to the NFL as a CFL guy, we're all pulling for him, or at least I know I was. And with the Arizona Cardinals, he was starting. They were playing the Chargers. I had to make sure to watch this game, and he threw the ball up downfield like 40 yards. And do you remember this? Boomer Esiason was doing color, and he said, somebody's got to tell that Streveler, this isn't the CFL. You just can't throw the ball up like that downfield. Of course, like any dyed-in-the-wool CFL guy, I got infinitely offended. Heaven like Boomer Esiason says, what do you mean this isn't the CFL? Anyways, and then he went on to sign with the Jets after stints with the Ravens and Dolphins. And I remember a fourth quarter. If you're still watching Cardinal Ryan, you might remember this. You were a biggest Jets fan I know. I want to say it was Sunday Night Football, maybe even Monday Night Football, preseason game. Night before the final cuts, and Streveler rallies the New York Jets, the Gotham Green, on a big fourth quarter comeback win and got cut the next day. And I'm like, what? But that is this constant reminder that we get all the time, and that it's not about necessarily how you played. It's how much money are you making, what's your age, all the rest. And here we are. So, yes, that's point one of the quick six. Well, the point one is NHL Free Agency. I said to the viewers that have been watching for an hour, because we did a lot of CFL talk in hour one, here on hour two across Nevada on Silver State Sports, and still streaming on Game Plus. It's now day two of NHL Free Agency, and July 1st in Canada is the national holiday on two reasons. Number one, it's Canada Day, celebrating the birthday. I believe it's 159 years. And also the start of NHL Free Agency. And to be honest, there was a hell of a lot of drama. So let's spend some time on this. There was some great comments that have come in from the viewers because the second guessing, the analysis of this isn't limited to the networks and the newspapers and whoever else. It's pretty much anybody with a Twitter account or Coffee Row. And I'll just say right now, the poll question today for our friends at Country Thunder, Saskatchewan, the biggest party of the summer is coming to Country Thunder, Saskatchewan. headlined by Lainey Wilson on the Sunday night. Creed will be performing as well, and the RP show is going to be on hand in Craven, Saskatchewan. Big outdoor country music festival. They're so great. July 9th to the 12th. And congrats to those who picked up their 2-for tickets on the Canada Day deal at countrythunder.com/SK. But the poll question is, who is winning NHL free agency? Oh, and by the way, breaking news, we have the text line working at 902-518-3033. The carrier outage is over. Who is winning NHL free agency? So I called, because I was calling a doubleheader in baseball yesterday, NCAA baseball. I wasn't following it as closely as I normally would. Was following it enough. And trust me, the guys in the press box were talking about the NHL free agency too. And I kind of meant to bring this up with Kevin the Medium, who was our Hour 1 co-host today. The guy that runs the music, let's just call him the DJ, is a Vancouver Canucks fan, and he was just completely mortified at the lack of action from the Vancouver Canucks. I'm like, bro, I would think you'd be used to it. But the teams that were busy were this is our poll: Toronto Maple Leafs, Edmonton Oilers, Tampa Bay Lightning, or other. Biggest reason I came up with those names of teams was I called our hockey analyst, Jared Dumba, this morning on my way to the studio, on the way to the gym here. And I said, who would you say they were the top three? And Jared, my God, I don't need to follow ESPN or TSN. I just follow his Facebook feed. He had every move on there. And he said the Leafs, the Oilers, the Lightning, or other. Those are your four. And Jason, thank you for putting up. I guess he's not wrong. 49% are voting for the Leafs winning free agency, which I have a thought on that. Hang on. 30% voting for other. 16% say the Edmonton Oilers, and 5% say Lightning. The reason I chuckled briefly was, I guess, the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, John Chayka, came out and said Sergei Bobrovsky, to paraphrase, said there's an argument that he's the greatest goaltender of all time. And our dear friend Jason Greger from Sports 1440 Edmonton, who's been on the show many times, he retweeted the quote and said, pardon? Sergei Bobrovsky is my favorite goalie in the National Hockey League right now. Even I don't think he's the greatest goalie of all time. So clearly John Chayka, the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, is just doing a little back patting of himself, a little fortifying of his decision-making. But, you know, they often, and I don't know if I agree with this, but from a lifetime in sports, I've heard this saying. The most recent I've heard, when they say whoever wins a trade is the team that got the best player. Jeff O'Neill brought that up. Do you remember the O-Dog from TSN said that to me a while back? And I'm like, is that really a thing? Maybe it is. If you look back in history, it might be. So if you say who ever signed the biggest name in free agency is winning free agency, then it is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Because if you go on every single list of the top free agents available going into July 1st, Sergei Bobrovsky was number one on all of them, and the Leafs got him. And just because it's where I live, I'm just going to get this out. I don't like what's going on in South Florida. There are some media, and I don't know who's behind it, that are trying to turn the fan base against Bob. And that's unfortunate. 3 straight Stanley Cup final appearances, 2 Stanley Cup wins. His name, I would hope, will go up to the rafters, name and numbers. They've only retired one player in history, Florida Panthers, Roberto Luongo. 1. And I don't know who will be the next, but it should be Bob's up there. But they're trying to start something. It's a story as old as time. The team and the player couldn't agree on the worth. They parted ways. Can we just leave it at that? Why do you got to make it? Why wouldn't he take a pay cut? Would you like to take a pay cut? It's not my cross to bear. 902-518-3033. But I want to hear from the other teams, like fans, because a lot of them have dotted my interest. Sorry, I was looking at the text line for a second. With the Streveler thing, as I was saying off the top, he is the type of player that, even though he didn't play for my team, I just loved him. And I was asking the viewers, who's a guy that played for your rival team that you couldn't help but love and at the very least respect? because of the way they played the game. For me, that's Chris Streveler. So we have a lot of CFL fans, a lot of them writing in and saying Toronto Argonauts legend Mike Pinball Clemens. We have had multiple write-in ballots from our viewers saying Mike Pinball Clemens. From Clearwater, Florida, trust me, I get it. 902-518-3033. And for me, going back to my little kid days, Theron Fleury playing for the rival Moose Jaw Warriors, swinging a stick at fans on his way being kicked out of the games. I'm like, I love that guy's fire. And then decades later, we would become best friends, which, by the way, the Theron Fleury golf tournament, Breaking Free Foundation, August 20th in Calgary. The Breaking Free Foundation raises funds to provide free counseling for trauma and abuse survivors. Thank you, Matt DeBuck, who's watching in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He writes it. He says, the Leafs and the Dolphins are one and the same. For some reason, can't get it going. Truer words, Coach. To be honest, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, I would suggest the Cowboys and the Leafs are the same, but the Dolphins are the same. Haven't won a championship really since in the color television era. You got all the funds. You got a sold-out stadium. How do you keep crapping yourselves every year? It makes no... But I put the Cowboys in that category. I get it. Fantastic chat yesterday, by the way. The viewers really loved it with Trevor Harris from WQAM Miami on this show, talking how the Dolphins are going to be bad. And hey, somebody said the Giants are going to win the NFC East. Trevor Harris fell off his chair laughing. It's fun to talk about, isn't it? And I'm glad that all of you are so interested in this. Jason, viewer Jason writes in, he goes, I'm curious of what the numbers were in that conversation between Bob and the Panthers because he only got $7 million in Toronto. Well, no, don't say only. That's what he wanted. And he wanted it over a 6-year deal, but he got it over a 3-year deal. Either way, he got paid. I'm going to tell you right now, and I don't want to say much more, but it wasn't even about money. It's... My phone's been going off with a lot of hockey people talking about this. I said, you can equate this to Steven Stamkos leaving the Tampa Bay Lightning a couple years ago. He had been making $8.5 million for 8 years prior, and the Lightning make him a $3 million offer. It's an insult. And he left. And my buddy goes, I bet you wished he'd taken it now. I don't know if he did or not. But let's just say the offer to Bob was largely insulting. And that's why he left. So you can say it's about money, or it's just, what did I say? What have I been trying to say for the past few days? It was a disagreement over worth. And when that happens, thanks for coming. 1:11 Eastern. Visualize a positive outcome. Visualize it. I need to listen to this myself. And then live there. What do you got to lose? 902-518-3033. Listen, you can keep digging and digging and digging all you want. I'm not going to tell you specifically because I can't. I'm learning lessons at my advanced age. By the way, that same Jason says, it was about staying and finishing his career in Florida. No, I'm telling you, the Panthers didn't want to pay him $7 million. What don't you get? Bob wanted $6 to $7 million. Toronto was willing to give it to him. Florida was not. And what they're trying to invent in South Florida is that if Bob was as big a team guy as they say, he would have taken a pay cut. Not to that degree. And by the way, for all the people saying it, would you like to take a pay cut? It's not about the fact that he's made $70 million the last 7 years. It's not. It's about pride and personal worth. And since we're on television in Nevada, I will say this about the Golden Knights. People need to... there's different ways to skin a cat, of course, and Moose hates when I say that, but it's true. The Golden Knights had made their moves ahead of free agency. The Panthers had made their moves ahead of free agency. The general managers that are so far ahead of the pack had their work done in advance. The general that plans ahead has the war half won. Write it down. So the only moves the Golden Knights have made in the last 24 hours are re-signing Rasmus Andersson and Jeremy Lauzon on their blue line. They didn't have to make any splashy big deals. And same thing with Bill Zito. He'd already acquired Brady Tkachuk. He'd already made the A.J. Greer trade. They had their feet up by July 1st, largely. Other than making the Jacob Markstrom trade, which, by the way, who saw that coming? But 902-518-3033. I told you we're going to talk a lot of hockey here. And by the way, for the Winnipeg people that are tuned in, number 2 in our region for viewership is Winnipeg. How do you feel? Well, I know you're all tuned in to see Chris Streveler in next, which me too. I'm trying not to fanboy here, but what does it say? I saw a message here from Jesse Granger from The Athletic Las Vegas, who does a really good job. He says the deal that Stuart Skinner signed for, I would say just a shade under $4 million a year, is the 29th highest salary for NHL goalies currently. And if we're assuming that Connor Hellebuyck leaves the Jets, that's a great deal. But I'm not convinced at this stage of the game that Stuart Skinner is the number one. Well, yes and no, but he can't do it alone. You know, he was left to cover up all the Oilers' warts and still got him to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup and Game 6 of the Stanley Cup the year after that. Too many of these teams just leave it on the goalie. That's what was going on in Edmonton. And in Winnipeg, if Hellebuck's leaving, whoever is going to replace him is going to be a drop-off. Hellebuyck is probably the best goalie in the world. To me, Bob's my favorite goalie, but Hellebuck's the reigning Olympic gold medal winning goaltender, and anybody was going to be a drop-off from him. What are we doing, producer Corey? Do I hear something? I just wonder how it feels in Winnipeg. When I say how it feels, I'm just saying, are you going to... Now, Hellebuck's not gone anywhere yet, but it sure looks like he's going to be. And are the fans going to turn on him like fan bases do, not just Winnipeg fans? I'm interested to know. While we're here, and you let me know, producer Corey, what we're doing for time. This is the warm-up. It's brought to you by Uniglobe Carefree Travel Group, the preferred travel partner of the RP Show and the BC Lions. When it comes to sports, trips, group travel, or your next great getaway, trust the pros who handle every detail so you can enjoy the journey. Contact Neil Chark with Uniglobe Carefree Travel. He's coming on tomorrow to talk about the big cruise with CFL stars in February. Chris Streveler is coming in next. I will leave the World Cup talk, baseball, NBA for later in the show. We'll be right back on Silver State Sports, Game Plus, and WQVZ.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs. through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's the RP Show, Silver State Sports, Game Plus streaming, WQVZ, and it is our distinct pleasure to welcome Chris Streveler, the newest sensation in the football media, joining us originally from Naperville, Illinois, South Dakota, Minnesota Golden Gopher, Pro, Winnipeg Grey Cup champion, Arizona, Baltimore, Miami, New York Jets, and Strevy. Before I go any further, I was with the rival Rough Riders when you broke in, and I couldn't help but love you. I'm going to admit it right now. Just the way you played, your exuberance, all the rest. When you went to the NFL, I was like the rest of the CFL, following and rooting for you. And now you're retired. How's that going for you, Strevy?
Well, first of all, appreciate the intro. Appreciate the love as a Riders guy. I've been getting a lot of love from them, actually, surprisingly. So I appreciate it, man. It's been good being retired, staying busy, and obviously getting involved with the CFL and football in general from a media perspective has been an exciting, fun, and new challenge.
Well, the viewers have questions. I've got questions, so let's settle in. I told you we got you for about 20 minutes, so I appreciate the time. But can I just jump to now? What are you doing now? You had to book me a week in advance. Are you coaching? What training? What are you doing?
Yep, I'm coaching. So I have a quarterback coaching business out in Arizona, ground up QB training. So I coach guys. I got a couple college guys in town right now. Doing some real estate stuff. Just finished flipping a house. Honestly, man, my mindset for this year after retiring has just been, let me just try a bunch of stuff for the next year and see what falls. And so as the CFL season started kind of coming around and started talking to Winnipeg about getting up there for some games, I just started seeing that there's not a ton of guys who have played in the CFL and the NFL that are doing content for the CFL. And there's not a ton of former players that are doing that. And I see there's so many people that do it for the NFL. I'm like, why don't I try to bring some of that to the CFL? And so it's been fun starting up the YouTube channel and getting involved on social media and the fans. And a lot of the players seem to be really excited about it. So it's been fun.
Well, of course. And I can just, your enthusiasm, everybody picks up on that, and obviously you know your stuff. But I will say this about the Rider fans loving you. When did you realize, oh, wait, it wasn't personal? I was just playing for the rival team. You figured that out pretty quick, obviously.
Oh, I always knew it. It's never – and look, I got no ill will towards them either. So it's not like I got no dog in the fight. Of course I have friends. I root for my friends, man. So I just want to see them do well, and I just want to give the league the positive light that it deserves, because truthfully, man, there's just not enough people in America who know about the CFL, are aware of it, especially right now. I've been standing on the table saying, guys, there's nothing on. Obviously, we have World Cup, but if you want football, we're talking about 70 points a game in the CFL right now. It's been an unbelievable season. Like, it's entertaining. Just give it a try.
Well, okay, then so I wrote it down here. I was reading the game notes today. The average QBR through 4 weeks in the CFL is 112.4. That's up. It was 110.6 just a couple of weeks ago. These quarterbacks are out of their mind. What's going right for them?
I don't think we've ever seen, at least in my time being around the CFL since 2018, I've never seen this level of quarterback play top to bottom. I mean, you got guys throwing for 400 yards and losing. It's unbelievable. So I've never seen anything like that. But I think you've got a lot of guys right now that are starting that have a ton of experience. Look at the veteran guys across the league that are just playing great ball. Bo Levi, arguably playing some of the best football of his career. Zach Calero still doing it. Trevor Harris, again, might be in his prime right now at the ripe age of 40 years old. It's crazy what's going on across the league. You still got Vernon Adams, and then you got these young guys who are also kind of coming on with Davis Alexander, Nathan Rourke. It's just very exciting right now.
So what are you attributing it to? I mean, you could say training, but I mean, there's an O-line. It's the ultimate team game. So why do you think that the the quarterback plays so high right now?
I think it's a lot of experience, and I think you also have to tie that in with good coaching. There's been a lot of consistency across the league with coaches like in the last couple of years, and a lot of the consistency with the starters as well. There hasn't been a ton of turnover. So when you have the opportunity to have year 2, year 3 under your belt of being in the same system, in the same building with the same guys, it's only going to get better from there. So I think that that's a big attributing factor too, is allowing these guys to be in the same system for multiple years and start to get even more comfortable.
Well, I love what you said about Nathan Rourke. I think officially he was 483 last week and won, and you're like, quarterbacking here isn't the problem. And he's got Buck, who you know better than anybody. And you said quarterbacking is not the problem in BC. So what is the problem in BC, do you think?
A little bit of everything else, to be honest with you. They got to protect him a little bit better, first of all. If there's a lot of pressure in Calgary, against Calgary last week, they also just haven't necessarily got the ground game going. And, a lot of people say, hey, they've been losing, so they're throwing the ball. But we all know, especially you want to make a push in the playoffs, you got to have a ground game. So starting to establish that, I think, will help them down the road. But it's also going to slow the game down a little bit for them, where if your defense, which their defense is obviously not the best in the league, take a little bit of pressure off them. Let's slow the game down a little bit for them, keep them off the field, stay on the field longer, sustain drives. I think if they can do a little bit of that and tighten up on special teams. So, we're talking about a little bit of everything, but
right.
Here's the thing. When I was with Winnipeg in 2024, we started the season 0-4. We were 2-6 at one point. We went to the Grey Cup. We all know how long of a season it is, and this is, in the world of media, everyone is so prone to overreacting and the world's ending, and they have issues, yes. But this is a very long season. I believe in Buck. When you have a great quarterback like Nathan Rourke and great leadership, you always have the ability to get things going in the right direction. This is a season of ebbs and flows. I still believe in them to be able to get things corrected and get this thing going in the right direction.
I really only have 2 questions for you. The YouTube chat's going off, so I'll turn it over to them in a second. But just number one, while I have you, you mentioned the 2018 season. The fur coat, the cowboy hat, the shades, the six-pack, how did that all come about? We're all watching going, what are we watching right now? That's going to live in infamy, man.
You were saying the same thing my family was saying. They're watching the live stream. They're like, what is going on right now? Like, how did this happen? So it kind of all just came together. I mean, it was my ex-girlfriend's mom's fur coat, and she gave it to me. I had to, and I wore the same outfit the night before I was hanging with the boys. It just wasn't nationally televised. So I just woke up the next morning, had the fur coat on, had the jean shorts, cowboy hat from Calgary where the game was. I walk into the locker room, Osh hands me a cigar and says, "Oh, you probably need this." So it kind of all just came together organically, and now I got people dressing up like me for Halloween. They're having my retirement celebration, a look-alike contest. It has taken on a whole entire life of its own. And, man, it's just really cool to see the love and support that people have given me. It's unique.
Good for you, man. I loved it. And the other thing, the last one from me is when you started for the Cardinals, I'm watching the game because I'm wanting to support you. It's against the Chargers, right? And Boomer Esiason's doing color, and he's like, this ain't the CFL, man. You remember the call. He's like, you can't throw it up like that. I'm like, what? Like any CFL fan, I'm immediately offended. How did that all play out? And did you talk to him after?
No, I never talked to him. And look, man, I've just grown so accustomed to, there's a lot of noise when you're playing, and how do you block that stuff out? And so it's water off a duck's back, man. There's a lot of people that have said a lot of positive things, and there's people that have said negative things about me. So I can't let that affect me on a daily basis. Now, I do appreciate the CFL fans, and I know Canadians, they are passionate, they are loyal people, and if you talk bad about them or the CFL, they're gonna come to bat for you, and they did. So it was a bad pass, but in my defense, if I could talk about the play, we didn't have a play called. We did not have a play called. It was a hard count, and we were instructed when we saw them jump off sides, if they jump off sides, snap the ball, we have a free play. So we snapped the ball. I saw the defensive end go into the neutral zone. I thought I had a free play. Can I make a better decision with the ball? Absolutely. But you're willing to take chances when you think you have a free play. That's why if you watch the clip, I'm coming back down the field looking confused because I'm looking for a flag and there's no flag. So that's why I made the decision I did. Of course, if I could go back and do it differently, I'd probably just chuck it up to D-Hop high and out of bounds. But at the end of the day, things happen in a split second and you learn to live with it and you move on.
Yeah, Boomer should know better, but I rarely get angry. I'm not that guy. I was going to throw my sandal at the TV and go, what have you ever done, Boomer? But anyways, Coach Matt DeBuck is watching in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He says, can you ask Chris who he thinks the best O-line is in the CFL. My pick is Hamilton.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, you look at that game. I did an in-depth breakdown of their game against BC. The pockets Bo's standing in. I mean, when you give Bo a clean pocket, and the same thing against Winnipeg is like there was no pressure on him. So when you allow him to be able to stand back there and get the ball downfield with that offensive line and that receiving core, you talk about depth at quarterback. There's a lot of deep receiving cores in the league right now too. I like the pick of Hamilton being one of the best offensive lines right now, just because you're giving Bo a clean pocket and you can see what he can do when he's pushing the ball downfield.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's clips going around, people saying, this Hamilton quarterback, he's got to sign in the NFL. I'm like, you guys are just seeing him? Like, he's been in the league since 2012. BW in Edmonton says, Chris, did you ever consider playing for the Eskimos Elks? Was that ever a possibility?
Okay, so I have a story about that. So when I was with the Jets when I was with the Dolphins and I got released going into the 2022 season. Yeah, in the 2022 season, I was sitting at home and I didn't really have anything. Like, I wasn't really sure what was going on. I kind of heard the Jets would be interested, but I had offers from 2 CFL teams to come back to the league, Winnipeg being one, and then Edmonton was actually the other one. Ended up signing with the Jets before training camp, but that was the closest I ever got to going to play in Edmonton, but there was an offer on the table.
For those that just tuned in, NFL, CFL alum Chris Streveler joining us. It probably hasn't sunk in yet, you're alum yet, or maybe it has. But on that vein, you know, they always say you don't know who's watching. I was watching them. It was a Monday night when you were with the Jets, right? Fourth quarter, you rallied them to the win. And the
Thursday
next day,
night.
It was a Thursday. Okay, I knew it was prime time. Yeah, and I'm like, you were waived the next day? What the hell? Like,
you're talking about preseason. So preseason,
Yep,
that was a Sunday game. And that whole preseason, I knew that I wasn't going to make the team. I was the 4th guy, and other 3 guys were pretty solidified. But I did let a sliver of hope come in after I led my 3rd straight fourth quarter comeback. And
right.
I'm like, am I going to somehow make this team? Like, I was, probably wasn't even going to make it through camp, and here we are. And then they ended up waiving me. They brought me back the next day on the practice squad, and I've been telling a bunch of stories on social media lately just about some of my experiences, and a couple of them have just been about how the Jets did right by me by elevating a couple times and allowing me to get my pension, by putting me on special teams, things like that. So, again, no ill will towards the Jets, man. I wish I could have been on active all year, but you make the most of whatever opportunity you have and you move forward.
Well, that's a good story. So you have nothing but good things to say about the Jets, because a lot of people don't say that about the New York Jets. So that's a good thing for you to say that.
I'm one of the guys, and people that know me, I'm such a positive person. I'm never going to dwell on negativity or dwell on the past. And so I had a great experience with the Jets. Some of my best buddies I made in the NFL. Still keep in touch with those guys. I root for them. So nothing but positive things to say about Saleh when he was there, and the rest of that quarterback room. Got a lot of good relationships with guys in that organization.
Steve from Steinbach says, I'll always remember the 100-yard drive in the Banjo Bowl in 2019. No, I remember it too.
Yeah.
That was talk about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that was kind of a crazy game because we had like a bunch of guys out that game. Like, obviously I was playing, Andrew Harris was out, so Johnny Augustine was playing running back. This was when like Lucky Whitehead was just getting going. Rasheed Bailey was just getting going. We had a young Kenny Lawler. Like, we had a lot of young guys that were playing that game, and we dominated that football game. We came out, had that long drive. I had a nice pass to Johnny. We were able to really get after him, especially after we had a tough loss in Labor Day where we went down, put a long drive together, scored, went up 1 with a couple minutes left. They drive down. Lawler ends up kicking the game winner with no time. So to be able to come back in our barn and get it done the way that we did with the guys that we had out there that weren't really like household guys, if you will, it was pretty special to go win that one.
And Lapo was your OC at the time, correct? Yeah. Can you talk about that, how he had you coached up and ready to go in that one?
I loved Lapo, man, and I think I appreciated his creativity even more as I got older and throughout my career, because I think had I not been with somebody like that was creative, I probably wouldn't have gotten to utilize my strengths the way that I did my first couple years in the league, where you're not just a wedge guy. Hey, we're going to throw the ball on 2nd and 1. Hey, we're going to run a wedge, and then we're going to go up-tempo out of our big personnel, get you on the edge running and throwing, and just really allowed me to get kind of steal reps along my career and get more comfortable and be able to impact the game even when I wasn't starting, because there's a lot of stats around the CFL and football in general where however many first downs and explosives you generate, high percentage of going and scoring touchdowns. And he believed in that. And I think him utilizing my strengths in unique ways allowed us to generate and steal some explosives and get a couple first downs and keep drives rolling. And so I can't say enough about his creativity as a play caller and putting me in opportune positions early in my career.
David, number 2 from Winnipeg, writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, Chris Streveler, what a beauty. The Peg loves Chris. I bet he's not wearing that fur coat in Arizona. Pretty hot down there this summer, huh?
Oh, it's getting toasty, man. I was just out coaching some quarterbacks yesterday. I know you guys are Celsius up there, but it was 102 degrees Fahrenheit. So you guys can do the math. It is getting toasty. No fur coat. Now, you guys are lucky I even put a shirt on. I was thinking about just popping top today for you guys. Maybe next time.
It's all good. Hey, we're in ratings. If you want to take it off, go ahead. Wayne in BC writes in. He says, hey, Rod, ask Chris how he thinks the CFL West Division will finish this year. It should be close, as I don't think any team will run away with it.
Yeah, it's going to be close. I mean, Edmonton's sitting at the top of the thing. I don't think anyone was expecting that necessarily. Sask, I mean, you got to probably think Edmonton and Sask are the 2 top teams. Sask is just, I was kind of saying before the season, I thought Sask lost some really key pieces and was going to potentially take a step back this year. I don't think they have it all. I think they look really, really well-rounded right now. So I think Edmonton and Sask are probably your top 2. Winnipeg and Calgary and BC kind of fighting it out. I mean, I got to put BC last right now. I'm interested to see what happens with Winnipeg and Hamilton this week. I think that's going to tell us a lot because Hamilton dominated that game in Winnipeg to a certain extent. And going to Hamilton is a tough place to play against one of the top teams in the East. So I'm excited to see how they come out. Calgary with a big one tonight against Toronto. I think a couple of those games are really going to show us. If Calgary goes and wins against Toronto tonight, I'm going to put them at 3. I'll put Winnipeg at 4 and then BC at 5, I guess.
You kind of have to. But Jason in Red Deer says, who do you think wins the Stampede Bowl tonight, Calgary, Toronto?
I got to go Toronto. I think it's going to be a close one. But we talk about Hamilton's receiving core. Toronto's receiving core is really, really good. And I like this Tyler Common guy, this young rookie that's been really playing well. I think he's got 4 touchdowns through 3 games or something like that. So he's off to a great start. And they've just got a lot of weapons there. Chad Kelly's slinging the ball around. But the biggest thing with those 2 teams is going to be who takes care of the ball. Because when Vernon Adams goes out there last week and goes for 230 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and moves a couple first downs with his legs, that's a hard team to beat, especially with Dedrick Mills in the backfield. So if he can keep the ball clean and stay on the field and they can get the run game going, that's dangerous. And then, Chad Kelly, he comes out last week, gets the interceptions corrected, only throws 1, but the week before gets a little careless and throws 4. So I think it really comes down to turnovers in a game like that. Whoever's going to play the cleanest game is going to win, in my opinion.
They're all going to be great. Okay, they're telling me a minute and a half. What was it like, the Strevey retirement party, standing on the stage? All these people, Strevey lookalikes. It just looked amazing.
It was ridiculous. I mean, it was just an overwhelming day. I was on the radio for 4 hours that morning. Then I had a bunch of interviews. Then I go meet a friend. Then I'm going to the tailgate. Then I'm on the TSN panel. Just an overwhelming day where it kind of took me a day or 2 to take a step back and really appreciate how amazing it was. But, I'm just so thankful for those fans and the way they've supported me throughout my career and my journey. And, that included. That was really special.
Well, the really fun thing was, I've been following your social media since you were playing, so I could see how much fun you were having. So, in the Bombers, you always got a home there. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, I always do, man. And I just got to give a shout out to Wade, Darren, the whole Bombers front office, Osh, all those guys that just always welcome me back with open arms. I feel so welcome when I'm there to go in the locker room, see the guys, and the opportunities that they've given me in my retirement and helped me out with has been extremely exciting. So, man, I'm just excited to see where this whole thing goes going into the fall and beyond with content and broadcasting and everything else.
Well, you have our support. And speaking of support, the Bombers helped me line this up with you. That's a first-class championship organization there. So, Strevey, thank you. Big fan. This has been a long time coming. Thanks for the time, man. Keep it up.
Let's do it again soon, man.
All right, the great Chris Streveler joining us from Arizona, the Valley of the Sun. We'll be coming right back with a sports update and viewer takeover the rest of the way. 902-518-3033 is the text line for Western Dodge, and you are tuned in to the RP Show. See you, Strevey. You are tuned in on the Silver State Sports Entertainment Network. Game Plus streaming, podcast, and WQVZ radio. We'll be right back on Silver State.
For a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band.
You know your man is working hard. He's worth a team.
Saturday, December 5th, Temple Garden Center.
Now.
The Gene Simmons Band performing your favorite classic hits. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
Get ready to make unforgettable memories with your little ones at Elmo's Got the Moves, the all-new Sesame Street live show coming to your neighborhood. Friday, December 4th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at SaskTix.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. That was amazing, wasn't it? Thank you, Chris Streveler. That was I've never interviewed him before, so that was nice. Wayne writes in. He is watching in Victoria on the Western Dodge text line, 902-518-33. He says, great interview, Rod. Chris Streveler is obviously a good dude. I'm curious to see what happens with his broadcast career. David number 2 says, ask Chris about DAZN. For the U.S. viewers, say Strevey started with the Cardinals, had significant cups of coffee with the Jets and the Dolphins. But he's a really big name in the CFL. And they have the new broadcast contract coming up next season. So I don't know what Streveler's doing. I think he's just having fun producing content. That's how Dan Orlovsky got hired on ESPN, and now he's the biggest guy. Just sitting in his living room pointing out plays, and next thing you know. So Strevey, the main thing is having fun. And to be honest with you, he said he's just retired, and he's trying out a bunch of different things. He's doing the media thing. He's coaching, flipping houses, real estate. Dude, I get it. When I left the CFL after the 2018 season, if you were paying attention, which a lot of you people were. I was out in Calgary doing the cowboy thing. I'm obviously dabbling down in Florida. I was out in Montreal doing the show. I don't know, and didn't know what I was going to do. He's doing the same thing. Tom Brady was the same. When you leave after doing something for a real long time, that's a really big hole, and that is your opportunity to try a bunch of different things. Exactly what Chris Streveler is doing. Don't you just get the sense that he's going to be good at no matter what he does? So, yeah, I mean, if he ends up on the air, CFL, NFL, whatever it is, that would not surprise me. He's just a guy that's got a lot to offer, obviously. I said I would read the sports update, so let's do that. We do have great comments coming in from the viewers. We have the best viewers in sports, don't we? We really do. And I'm hoping that a lot of this is not old news. It is what it is. The Boston Celtics are trading superstar Jaylen Brown to the 76ers in a blockbuster for Paul George, 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. The deal comes days after Brown, coming off the best season of his career, was mentioned as a major part of Boston's potential package for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Usually once it slips that a team's looking at shopping you, you've probably played your last game. MLB, Dansby Swanson's hot streak continued in a big way on Wednesday as the Cubs shortstop smacked 3 home runs and had 8 RBI in Chicago's 23-3 blowout win over the Padres. How's this for turning your season around? In his first 70 games, the slumping Swanson had 7 home runs and 28 RBI. In 13 games since, 9 home runs and 29 runs batted in. Rays third baseman Junior Caminero homered in his 6th straight game on Wednesday, breaking Ken Griffey Jr.'s record as the youngest player to do so in MLB's modern era. If he goes yard in his next 2 games, he'll tie the longest home run streak ever, which also reminds me, when I left that last job after 20 years, and there was only one team that I followed. There was only one team that I followed, the team for which I worked and broadcast their games and covered them. I was like, you know what? I want to get out and try the other sports. Got back into hockey. Now started doing baseball. It's amazing. I was talking to somebody about that yesterday. Probably the thing I liked about it most is the vibe. The football guys are so up in your face. Stand on business. Enough. Baseball, we'll get there when we get there. I love it. Number 7, Coco Gauff rallied in the 3rd set to avoid an upset and reach the 3rd round at Wimbledon. Number 5, Mira Andreeva wasn't so lucky as last month's French Open champion was stunned by Barbara Krejcikova on center court. And from the NCAA, 5-star wide receiver Jed Harrison, the class of 2028's number 1 overall recruit in the Rivals 300, is committed to Ohio State. The rising junior at St. Joe's Prep is the son of NFL Hall of Famer Marvin Johnson and brother of Cardinals wide receiver Marvin Jr., who also went to OSU. Okay, the text line's back working. Way to go, Joe. The carrier outage is over. 902-518-3033. You can reach me here at Golden Ticket Sports Center, which, by the way, hosts your next business staff event at the Golden Ticket Sports Center. Experience a unique and dynamic environment for team building, meetings, and corporate fun. Visit GoldenTicketSportsCenter.com to book your event today. The text line's open, 902-518-3033. John in Edmonton, hang on. It'll be wide open. We used to do it on the open line talk when we were doing it on the radio. Open lines. When we come back, whatever you would like to talk about on overtime, right after this final timeout, you're watching on Silver State Sports, Game Plus streaming, podcast, and, of course, all across the U.S. South. Shout out Ryan O'Media at WQVZ Radio. We'll be right back.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers, Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world! Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world! Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right, well, this is going to be a lot of fun. The whole show has been a lot of fun. Let's be honest, Chris Streveler is the biggest reason for that. I love his positivity. To be honest with you, he reminds me of me at that age. Boys are just trickling out after their morning lift here. And I want to get back to that. You know, you have life kick you in the nuts enough. Sometimes it's not Strevy. He's smiling ear to ear, and I'm like, that's what I want to be like. I think I am like that. Just got away from it a little bit. You know, and that reminds me of a few things. I said I would read some viewer comments here. Bill in Brantford, Ontario writes in with what was a fun topic that I didn't plan to get to today. I said earlier, who's the one guy from the rival team that you couldn't hate because he was just so good or was having so much fun playing? And for me, that was Chris Streveler. Alex Singleton, too. Bill Dalby from Brantford writes in. He says, I wasn't happy when Brett Favre left the Packers, but I always cheered for him to do well on his new team. Oh, so you're a Packers fan. That's a tough one, and that's that's a different conversation. That's like Sergei Bobrovsky leaving Florida and the people being upset there. You know, these splits are nasty, and the sooner you can get over them, the better, which is another thing. And I will say this about Sea Lightning when I bring up the baseball. Sea Lightning says baseball is slow, boring, and then something big happens. Baseball is a great game. Well, for me, it was a wonderful thing to discover at my age at a high level of NCAA baseball. Like I told you earlier in the show, how much I respect these young men spending their summers. They don't have to be doing this, but they love baseball and they want to win. So do I. It's a nice fit. And last night, and I love meeting the families. Lori Swan came up to me, come right up to the broadcast booth. She's from Peoria, Arizona. And she goes, you always shout out all the families to say hi to you on Twitter, but I'm not on Twitter. So I said if I ever get up there, I'm going to come up to the booth and say hi. So I'm Lori from Pierre. My son's Gary, the catcher. And I'm like, oh, yeah, and I met your husband, Cliff, blah, 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 blah. And she goes, we just love listening to you on Flow College. That's the kind of stuff that makes your heart warm. That's why I got back into this and doing the play-by-play, because it's just enough of being with a team to whet my appetite, but I still like this a ton too. The talk, right, when you're not with a team. Bill in Toronto writes, or from Toronto, he says, good morning, crew. Late check-in today. Here goes Argos. Oh, we covered a lot. Strevy and I both picked the Argos to win tonight, just so you know, Bill. John in Edmonton, I hadn't forgot about you. He says, I know you're in the American hour, but the NHL is North America, so I'm going to ask you, should the goalies keep all three goalies that they have now, and where do you think Connor Ingram is going? Well, number one, I will talk hockey in this American hour all day, especially when we're airing in an NHL market in Las Vegas, and they tell us that we're Vegas's favorite hockey show, so why wouldn't we? But as far as the orders go, you need to – it's not your fault, John. It's like every fan in free agency – we see it with football too. Everybody's calculating the math, and they're adding up salaries. And it's like the goalies they have today will not be the goalies that they have in week one, and that will be up with them. You say, what did you say? Who should they keep? Who should they let go? Freddie Anderson will be the number one goalie. He'll play 65 games, and it doesn't matter who. Listen, it really doesn't matter who the backup is. They're there to give the number one guy a blow. It's not a 50-50 thing, and I still believe if you have two goalies, you don't have one. Look at Vegas. They didn't figure out their goaltending situation till March. With a month to go in the regular season. And you're going to ask me in July what the Oilers are going to do? Freddie's number one. That's all that matters. The Jug is watching in Saskatoon. Guys, we got like 3 minutes left. All the things you're writing about now, we've covered today. Over the last 2 hours, primarily in hour one. So Joe, former Indianapolis Colts receiver, he was suspended in the CFL for 6 games for violating the gender-based league policy. He was reinstated on Tuesday by the Canadian Football League, signed with the Calgary. So the Jug's asking, what are we thinking, CFL? I'm sorry, but that was an hour one conversation. Jason in Red Deer has updated the poll results. The poll question is, who's winning NHL free agency? I say winning because it's not over for at least a few more days. Thank you, producer Corey. The poll question is brought to you daily by Country Thunder Saskatchewan, the biggest party this summer coming July 9th to the 12th to Craven Sask, featuring Lainey Wilson, Creed, and the RP Show. 40% say the Leafs are winning free agency. So we got that right. I actually called Jared Dumba before the show, and I said, who do you think are the top 3? He said Toronto, Edmonton, Tampa, or other. Boom. I think we got most of it. 40% are saying the Leafs. 31% are saying other. 22% saying Oilers. 7% say Tampa Bay. Carlos in Indiana writes, and he says, bring on Football Friday. Well, tomorrow we got Murph with us in hour one. Murph! And the sports doctor, Dave Patrician, going to join us from Winnipeg, wants to get on the show again. So I said to Mike Davis in Vegas, I said, you got Friday off. He's like, cool. So the sports doctor will be with us, Minnesota Vikings season ticket holder, big name in the Winnipeg media, Bomber fan, but we won't hold that against him. And Murph to talk about tonight's game, the Stampede Bowl. And thank you, Scrubby, by the way. There's a reason. It's like namaste. The light in me recognizes the light in him. He's like, I'm telling everybody in America, if you're missing football, watch the CFL. And to be frank, if I can be frank, you can be whoever you want to be. Them not being on ESPN is not a good thing because nobody in America knows where to find the games. You got to put it right in front of people. Being on CBS Sports Network, CBS Sports Network, not great. And the people don't know where to find CFL Plus unless you're like Strevy or me or Matt DeBucker, the people that do. But whatever, it's not my flag to carry. Brent in Saskatoon, thank you so much for such a fun show today and every day, Rod. Love Chris Streveler. Have a blessed day, sir. You as well. BW, the Jug. See you tomorrow for Football Friday.
That.